My girlfriend suspects I cheated on her, and all signs point to me being guilty. My girlfriend tested positive for an STD and thinks I cheated on her. I'm just going to lay out the whole timeline of events that I woke up yesterday morning. My GF had already left for work, and I headed to my parents' house to help them with some chores and do our laundry. Throughout the day, I texted my GF, and she was obviously very mad at me. All her texts were intentionally short, and now how she usually texts me. She wasn't mad at me the night before, so I wondered what was wrong. I don't like having any serious talks over the phone due to likelihood of miscommunication, so I didn't ask her. She told me she had a new prescription to pick up. For the last couple weeks, she'd been suffering symptoms of a UTI, and nothing she'd been taking had been helping. I went and picked it up and dropped it off at the apartment for her before returning to my parents. She arrived at home, and an hour later, I got home as well. When I didn't find her inside, she walked through the front door, having just left our neighbors, all girls our age, apartment. She was obviously stressed and had been smoking pot. We both smoke to cope with it. I asked her what's wrong. She asked me if there was anything strange about the prescription I picked up for her. I told her I didn't know. I didn't read it. She told me that her UTI swab came back testing positive for chlamydia that morning, and that's what the prescription is for. She said she knows she didn't have sex with anyone else, and so she confronts me about it. I was just completely dumbfounded, and I still am. We celebrate our 5-year anniversary next month, and I've been faithful to her for that entire time. I don't even cheat on her in my dreams. She also doesn't think I would or even could do it. I am a very awkward and introverted person. I barely talk to anyone, let alone other women. She told several people, her coworkers, neighbors, and while they didn't think I was innocent, they also don't think I could have pulled it off. Just that morning, I had a very awkward interaction with one of our neighbors where she complimented my shoes, and all I could think of was, "Oh, thanks." After our talk, my girlfriend currently doesn't believe that I cheated on her, but said that would change if a second test came out positive as well. She said she'd feel like an idiot if she stayed with me if it came back positive again. We scheduled tests for the both of us later that night. It's worth noting that false positives for chlamydia are extremely rare. Only about a 2% chance at most. She said that the most likely time frame for me to have cheated was May 5th to 8th. Wow. I spent most of those days either at home or at school, all of which have been verified by her. Looking through my location history on Life 360, there is one very incriminating event. I'm working on a documentary and had set up an interview with a couple people on the 6th. The interview took place at an Airbnb I rented, which I stayed the night before for my convenience. It obviously doesn't look good that I stayed the night at an Airbnb an hour away from home in the time frame. She thinks I cheated on her. It also does not help that this Airbnb was on the same street at several clubs and is definitely a partying area of town where drinking and one-night stands are probably very common. I remembered there being a security camera in front of the door of the Airbnb, and I contacted the Airbnb owner, but they said they didn't have access to the footage. The best thing I can think of to clear my innocence is make a timeline of my whereabouts for that week and prove that there wouldn't have been a time for me to cheat, that we both went to a clinic and got tested, both urine and blood. It will take 4 to 6 days to get the results. The doctors there told her the symptoms she'd been experiencing weren't very typical for a UTI, so it's most likely something else. Before any of you comment, no, I don't think she cheated on me. I don't think she would do that, just like how she doesn't think I would do it. If the test does come back positive, I would assume one of us somehow got it non-sexually. I'm just going to be stressing about it for the next few days. Everyone she's told just assumes I'm guilty. All I can think about is the worst-case scenario of it coming back positive again and her thinking I cheated on her. What do I do to deal with the stress for the next few days? Should I make that timeline? We'll be on vacation this weekend, so I'll have that help taking my mind off it a little. WTF do I do if it comes back positive again? Thanks. Update. Tried posting this update as a separate post, but it was auto-removed by the mods with no explanation. Hopefully they'll unlock this post after the update so discussion can be had. I'm just going to go through this last week's timeline. First off, wow. Despite being one of the top posts of all time on this subreddit, posting here was almost completely useless. Pretty much 99% of the comments were telling me she cheated, with no other helpful information, which is probably why the post got locked. It was very clear that a lot of people didn't even read the post, telling me to do things I clearly stated I had already done. To be honest, I stopped reading after about 700 comments because they were so unhelpful and were just stressing me out more. Let me get some things straight that were misinterpreted from my original post. No, my GF did not launch a smear campaign, pre-rally people against me, or attempt any form of character assassination. Her coworkers, whom she's very close with, were with her when she got the test results back, saw her reaction, and she told them. She wasn't going to tell anyone else until she arrived to our apartment, already very stressed, and our neighbor asked if she wanted to smoke with her. She later said she regretted telling these people that my girlfriend did not freak out on me or angrily accuse me. When she confronted me on the results, we had a short, very calm conversation about it, and afterwards she did not believe I had cheated on her. Despite my, admittedly clickbaity, title, my girlfriend did not think I cheated on her after our conversation, as I said in the original post. Neither of us thought the other person cheated. I viewed any commenters saying she cheated on me as doomers with cuck fetishes, aka most Redditors, and ignored them. That I did find it very funny to see some little Sherlocks who commented that I had in fact cheated on her, making the original Reddit post to form an alibi. These master detectives found me renting an Airbnb an hour away for an interview extremely suspicious. The next time you guys schedule an interview, you'll find that an Airbnb is considerably cheaper than an interview space. And it's generally more polite to travel an hour distance yourself rather than asking your interview subjects to drive that. Researching chlamydia outside of Reddit was barely any help either. There was a lot of contradicting information on how chlamydia could spread. Some websites said it both could only be spread sexually, but could also be spread non-sexually through infected fluids. Some replies and sources pointed out that chlamydia could lay dormant for over 10 years. This did not help, as we've been dating for nearly 5 years and tests in the past would have found this. Many replies also noted that you can get chlamydia through several different animals, including livestock. My GF works with livestock and companion animals, so I thought this was the clear answer. But after some research, I found that these animal versions of chlamydia are completely different from the chlamydia we're talking about. My best guess at this point was that she was infected by sharing clothes or towels with an infected co-worker. At this point, we were joking about how bad our luck had been recently. I kept seeing the number 13 everywhere I went. We had recently filmed a horror short, and we were genuinely convinced we had been cursed that we went on vacation over the weekend, and that kept our minds off the whole situation. I did my best to make sure she didn't stumble across the post, so it wouldn't stress her out that we didn't get any results or response until the following Tuesday. My results were emailed to me, and I was negative. She got a phone call, saying that they were running some final tests before sending hers in, but that she was positive for chlamydia. Now, this was the big gotcha moment you were all waiting for. Clearly, SHE had been cheating and tried to gaslight me and ruin my reputation. A foul and devious plot that had been foiled by a single phone call. Sorry to disappoint the cucks in the audience. But much like how she didn't believe I cheated on her, I still didn't think she cheated on me. That we spent about an hour theorizing together how she could have gotten it, and genuinely started to think she had been drugged and raped during a recent night out with her girlfriends. It was a rather confusing and traumatizing hour or so as we tried to piece it together. We were about to leave just to get out of the apartment when she got an email. It was her results. The phone call she had gotten earlier was wrong. She was negative for chlamydia. For those of you who have ever had to deal with front desk/receptionist people at doctor's offices, they're usually horribly incompetent, but that's a story for another time. We just assumed the receptionist who had called her had misread the results or confused her with someone else. So that was that. This was a horribly stressful and confusing week for the both of us, made only worse for me by the Reddit post. I showed it to her shortly after we got the results, and she said it would have stressed her out too. I'm not sure if post updates are allowed on this sub, or if this is the correct way to update a post. I don't really care. This experiences sort of just reinforced my hatred for Redditors. Hope you guys enjoyed the unnecessarily long update to the drama. My boyfriend cheated on me for $250. So me and my boyfriend have been together for about 4 years. We've had our ups and downs, but overall we have a really solid relationship that we live together and have been struggling financially a lot recently, mostly due to college debt. My boyfriend also can't work more than 3 hours per day because of several mental disorders. Our parents on both sides are not really in the picture. Well, a few nights ago my boyfriend went out without me, which is usually fine with me. According to him, he told his friends he wouldn't drink much because he needed to save up. His friends were already really drunk and told him how he's become so bland and annoying recently. He couldn't have any fun anymore, and one of them said he would give him $250 if he cheated on me. This friend has never really liked me and has often made weird comments like how my boyfriend could have done way better or how boring I made him. I know he cheated on his ex-GF several times. Well, long story short, he did it. My BF made out with a random girl at the bar and went home with her. The worst part is he didn't even tell me. I found out 2 days after through a "hey girly" text from the girl he cheated with. I immediately confronted him and he owned up to everything. He cried, said he was sorry and that he just did it for the money. He wanted us to not be as stressed about money. He did buy groceries for us with it. I have been avoiding him as much as possible since then. He has been trying his hardest to make up. I don't know what to do. I feel extremely betrayed, but I believe that he really did it for the money. How can I move on from this situation? Update. So, first of all, I want to thank everyone for being so honest with me. I really needed that. Sorry for not answering many questions. I've kind of been going through it for the last few days. So, the most asked questions answered here. Yes, he is in therapy and was diagnosed with borderline and depression among other things. He really is mentally unstable, and one of his many doctors advised him not to work more than 20 hours a week because he often gets panic attacks after too much continuous stress. The girl he cheated with reached out to me on Instagram after finding out about me through a friend who I used to go to school with. He bought groceries from the money and gave the rest to me. He told me he did use protection. I got tested. He told me he would cut off his friends, which I thought he already had, after a previous incident, and did everything he could to get me back. The last few days. Now on to the actual update. I left him 3 days ago. I am staying with one of my closest friends, who is an absolute angel right now. It was genuinely one of the hardest things I've ever done. I literally went insane living with him. He wanted to talk to me and make up 24/7, but I couldn't see his face anymore. I moved everything out as fast as I could and blocked him. I'm trying to find a therapist and a new place to live soon. Thanks again. I really didn't think everyone would tell me to leave him. TBH, I probably would have stayed with him if I didn't have your advice. I feel really stupid for even considering it now. And yes, I also know it sounds fake. Can't blame you for thinking this. LMK if I misses anything.